All right. Hey, everybody. I just want to say hello and happy Wednesday. Welcome to your Piggyback blog webinar for this week. This week we will be covering how to go through more of the fantastic plugin, which is called Jetpack. Inside this plugin, it allows us to do a lot of different things like socially broadcast out our blog posts, to be able to use fancy other photo galleries. It allows us to create forms, even though we have a secondary plugin that will allow us to do that as well. It'll let us change the um, photos that we display whenever we share our blog posts or our pages or our blog in general on social media. There's a lot of robust things that we're able to do utilizing the Jetpack plugin. Now, first and foremost, I want to make sure that you can hear me today. So if you can, please respond in the box to your side that will I'll let me know that you're able to hear me, and I'll continue on and we'll get started with what I've got to cover for today. Okay? Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started. If you're here, you probably already know how to log into your Piggyback blog, but let's just cover it just in case. So if you go to piggybackblogs.com, there's always a button at the top of the screen that will allow you to log in. This is going to take you to your login screen. Now, if you already have your domain hooked up with your e-agency website, or if you're going straight to WordPress with your new responsive refresh, you can also utilize the URL that your domain is on. So if you are utilizing the website River City Living, there's always going to be a link in your menu because you want people to obviously be able to go to it. And then after you have your blog address, blog.yourdomain.com, however, some new websites that we've been launching will utilize www.domain.com. So don't get confused. If you are utilizing either of these URLs, you can simply just do a slash wp-admin at the end of it, and it'll take you directly into your dashboard area of your WordPress install, aka your Piggyback blog. Some websites will also be utilizing something called the meta area for your blog, and that'll be over in your sidebar area. It'll say meta, and there'll be a button that says login. So there's multiple ways to get into your Piggyback blog. So as long as you get there, we're going to be all good. Okay, so inside your Piggyback blog, if you're using our new basic layout, which is controlled by the area at the bottom of the red menu section, it says basic, or it can say default. If you're in basic, you will need to switch to default in order to be able to control what plugins are and are not active on your Piggyback blog. So if you go under plugins, once you're in the default layout, there's numerous plugins all in here for you to be able to use. However, a lot of them are just there to be used by us, our super admin people. However, the most important one that we're talking about today is the Jetpack plugin, and it is provided to us by WordPress.com. This will come up later, so when we pay attention to when it says WordPress.com versus Piggyback blog, we'll know the difference, okay? So if we click activate, what it does is it turns that plugin on so that we're able to utilize it then. Otherwise, it just sits dormant. It's not being used. It's not pulling any power resources from our website. It's not making our website any laggier whenever it comes to load or anything like that. So this is why I say only activate the plugins that you actually plan on using, okay? So at the top of our screen, a big green banner has shown up, and that banner says your Jetpack is almost ready. Connect to WordPress.com. Now, like I said earlier, WordPress.com is separate and different than our Piggyback blog. So it's going to require a different login once we click connect to WordPress.com. Now, if this automatically logs in, I apologize because I do utilize WordPress.com here and there. Yay, it didn't. Okay. So here is where you would utilize your WordPress.com username and password. Now, if you don't know if you have one, then you probably don't. You would only have a login for this if you had already utilized WordPress.com at some point in time in a different juncture. Now, if you don't, not a big deal. All you have to do is click the button at the top here. It says need an account. Quick and easy. Just create one, confirm it through your email, and you'll be good to go. So it's going to automatically autofill what email address you have in there that as your admin email address that you're utilizing for your Piggyback blog. So it's like, hey, let's use this. And then you're going to be able to create a username and a password. Now, once you've clicked sign up, you're going to receive an email, and that email is going to have a confirmation link to make sure that you are the person that has control of that email address. And that's, you want them to do that. So at that point, just confirm it, and then you're going to be able to log in from there. I, however, do know my logins for WordPress.com, so I'm going to go ahead and put them in. If I can type it correctly, Okay, so this should connect us directly to WordPress.com. Now, why does Jetpack need to connect to WordPress.com? All right, so your Piggyback blog is a self-hosted network multi-site install of WordPress. Now, WordPress.com is kind of like a social network of WordPress installs, I guess is the best way to put it. It's kind of like what Piggyback blog is, but hosted by the people that actually made the interface. So they have a couple of cool extra features that we don't get unless we connect with Jetpack because we're self-hosted and we're separate from that network. So all these cool, fun features are now available to us because we have this WordPress.com connection through this Jetpack plugin. So that's why it asks for it, and if you never log into WordPress.com again, that's okay. It's connected and you're good to go. So once you've gotten connected, you're going to see this big green screen, and you're going to be presented with all these cool features that Jetpack has available for you. So there's things like single sign-in, which someone like me that utilizes like multiple websites on a personal basis, that's excellent. I only have to remember one login, I've got one place to go to, all that kind of stuff. But one of the really cool features that's just automatically default activated inside of Jetpack is going to be the WordPress.com stats area. Now, this is not as intricate as if you were to utilize Google Analytics, but it's really nice because it's like right there. WordPress.com stats, what this does is it checks to see how many times blog posts and pages are being visited. It'll also tell if it's been clicked. It'll tell you a little bit about where they got there from. If it was a search result, that's where they were searching and they found your page, things like that. Now, if you have this active, what you're going to see on your dashboard is a little widget right here that will show you the views that you've had on your page. Now, nobody goes to my beta version of my Piggyback blog where I just play with it for these webinars. So you can see that, I visited it myself probably twice back on October 1st. And it looks like the page that was went to was the archives page. So little things like that is the information you're going to get in here, and it's nicely given to you by date. Or if you log in to go to WordPress.com for your additional details and information on it, you can get, hey, this year this is how well I did, how many views I got, or this month compared to this month. It's really, really nice, and it's great if you're not wanting to dive into the whole all that extra information that you can get from Google Analytics. I like the stats that you can get directly from your WordPress or your Piggyback blog right there. So you're not having to go to any additional area. All right, so let's go back into Jetpack and discuss some of the other features that are available aside from this stats feature. Okay, if you scroll down, there's Jetpack features. And if you click the button here, it says view all Jetpack features. You're going to see all of them available. So inside here, you're going to see numerous things pop up. Now, do I recommend just going in here and clicking every single one of these? No. Don't just click things, like read and find out what they're actually going to do. And I'm going to try to go over the things that I actually think are more important in here to make sure that you are utilizing this plugin to your utmost. So let's go over the widget visibility. Widget visibility, I know that we talked recently about changing things and making things available on the sidebar of your website. The sidebar is this area over here to the side of all your blog posts and pages. You can control all this stuff through, through appearances through your widgets area. So appearance, widgets. Now that visibility section that we just turned on, that's available inside of the options for each of these widgets. See the button here? It says visibility. So we're able to decide whether or not it shows or doesn't show based off of like which blog post or which author or which date or things like that that people are viewing this page or post about. Which is a little bit more advanced, but it's just something that some people have been able to utilize in their community pages so that they can have like a list of other menus over to the side. If, let's say, you've divided your communities up into areas and you want that list of communities that are within that area to the side, then you're able to, manipulate it and do other things with that. So back to Jetpack, let's go over some more. Tiled galleries is one of my favorite things about the Jetpack plugin. Now, there are default photo galleries that come with your Piggyback blog. However, they're not very pretty. This tiled galleries area paired with the carousel area gives you a lot of different availabilities as far as like how to display your multi-photo like kind of viewing in your pages and your posts. If you wanted to activate these, all you have to do is click them and click configure. Or at some point, if you had like infinite scroll activated, there's a button down here that says activate. So that's how you activate or deactivate any of these things, these features inside of Jetpack. So if we're going to do tiled galleries, it'll take us down here to where it says it's sending us to a special area inside of settings called media and allowing us to click this area saying display all your gallery pictures in a cool mosaic. And we click save. So if we wanted to display like what this actually does, let's go ahead and go to a post and do add new. So we can see what this actual feature does as a reference. So tiled gallery test. Let's go ahead and add some media. And under Add Media, there's a section that says Create Gallery. So if we click on Create Gallery, it lets us choose more than one image. So if I click these three, and I click the blue button at the bottom here, it says Create a New Gallery. Now it has my 3 images that I selected. I can give captions for each one of these, and I'm able to choose what type of gallery at that point. So here are my options. Now, if I didn't have this available, the only option I would have would be thumbnail grid, which I'll show you what it looks like. It's a little boring is the best way to put it. So we're going to insert this, and I'm going to click publish, and I'm going to go take a look at it. So let's just open this in another tab so we don't have to keep going back and forth. And this is a thumbnail gallery. It's kind of spaced out, kind of weird, and the photos are kind of clipped. It's not the best way to display your photos that you're trying to show off. So if we're going to go edit this gallery, we're going to hover over or select that gallery and click the button up here that's for editing. And it's going to open up our edit gallery area again. Over in the tile area, let's go ahead and try something different, which will be tiled mosaic. And we're going to update it. So it doesn't change in your preview here, so don't be alarmed whenever it doesn't reflect the change that you've made. Code-wise, it knows what it's doing. It's just not trying to go out of its way to show you exactly how it's going to show on the live version in this editable area. So let's click update, and let's refresh our blog post so we can see the difference. And there we go. See, what it has done is it's utilizing the entirety of the photo, but it's minimizing it to an area where it's able to stack and display different pieces inside of this tile area. So I really love the way these display, and you have a nice hover effect whenever you hover over an image that has a caption to it. So it's a really classy way to display your images. So one other one, I like this the circles. So let's update it and take a look at that one. And what it's going to do, it will clip it because it's going to, make a square or a rectangle into a circle. So it's going to obviously make a difference. But I think it's a really classy way to do it as well if you were just trying to show something off very simplistic inside of your blog post, maybe within the like in between your two paragraphs or something like that. This is how a circle photo gallery will display. So I think it's really nice looking. And the carousel allows for the slideshow area to show. If we click show and we update this and show that last feature, and there we go. So I'm able to go side to side and see these different photos that are available. Or I can just, not be so impatient, and it's going to go through the photos on its own because it's a slideshow. Okay, back to Jetpack. Let's see what else we have inside of here. One of the most important sections that Jetpack has available is this section called Publicize. I get asked on a regular basis as far as how can I, market my website, why am I not getting enough traffic, things like that. And really, you're going to get traffic through blogging, which is going to add content to your website on a regular basis, and marketing your own information. Now, why do you have to market if you're doing all this blogging for SEO? Because not everybody is searching for you. So you might as well market out and spread the word yourself as well on top of that, and have the information there that's going to make people want to stay. So Publicize, what it'll do is it will allow for your followers, your tweeters, your contacts on LinkedIn, all these other people that you've connected with on these social media networks to know when you've added a new blog post. So if we click on Publicize, we can click the blue button down here that will allow us to configure it. Now, if we go here, you're going to see that there's a section for Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Tumblr, Path, and Google+. Now, I don't even know what Path is, to be completely honest. But the rest of these are very prominent in the social media platform. And the more you're using them, the better off you're going to be, especially if you have those nice little social media buttons on your homepage of your website. You need to have that content on these social media networks so that it looks like you're using them too, right? So all those likes, all those followers, all those connections, let them know that we have new content on our website. So if we click on Facebook, all you have to do is click connect. And what it's going to do is it's going to check to see if you're already logged into Facebook. If you are, then it's just going to go on to the next process and go, hey, you're Tracy. Are you sure you want to connect your Facebook? And then it's going to allow me to select what page I want to utilize from my Facebook. And I can decide whether or not I want to use it for all the users on the blog or just for my one user. So if you have multiple users on your blog, then you're going to see that there's that they'll have the same options to be able to post out to that same Facebook. So if you have an assistant that has their own login, or everybody uses one login, everything will go to the same place. So we've connected Facebook. If we wanted to connect Twitter as well, these may not be giving me the full properties and asking if I want all these things because I may already be logged in, and I've done this a good couple of times. So when I've clicked to connect Twitter with WordPress, aka my Jetpack, aka my Piggyback blog, is asking me to log in and authorize the application. So if I wanted to go ahead and do that, well, it looks like I changed my password. Or I just don't know it. at that point you get logged in. It's going to go ahead and start posting out to that specific um, social media network. So same thing with LinkedIn. If you have a company page on your LinkedIn, then it's going to give you the option to choose that or your profile as well. And the same goes for the rest of these. So you're going to, if you can do one, you pretty much can do the rest. So since we already have Facebook connected, let me show you what it looks like whenever you're about to create a new post. So let's do another new post. So in this new post, you can see that there's an area over here where it says publish. And then there is the button, or the area that says publicize. Facebook, Tracy R. Adams. That's the page that's saying that, hey, if I click publish, it's going to send an update out to this Facebook page. If you click edit details, you can change some stuff inside of here. You can add a custom message if you want to add on to this. There's a couple of other ways to manipulate this area. If you don't want it to automatically pull the photo that you have as your first photo inside of the blog post, there's a couple of other ways around that. And we can get to that later if anyone in this webinar is actually interested in learning the additional information regarding that. So yeah, you can, what happens is whenever you click publish, then it's going to be sent out to these social media networks. However, if you have already published a blog post, you can't retroactively go back and publicize those. You have to do those the old-fashioned way, aka you are going to end up just copying and pasting the URL like you would if you found something really interesting. You would just copy that URL, put it in your post or your tweet, and go from there, because it'll link up that way as well. It's just nice to have it automated. So it's one less thing that you're going to have to do for every blog post that you've written. Okay, next I'm going to go over a section called sharing inside of Jetpack. This section, what it does is it allows the people that are reading your blog posts or pages, it will allow them to click a button and share it out to this specific social media network. It does not send them directly to your social media. Those would be like just icons that you put in another location. I don't think there's actually anything inside of Jetpack that will allow you to do that, but sharing is for them, not to promote your social media. Okay, so the area that is for sharing is right here. It says allow visitors to share your content on Facebook, Twitter, and more with a click. So if we go here, it's going to take us to that same area that we were in just for publicize. But there's a section down here below that says sharing buttons. So if we want to select specific buttons to utilize, we can drag and drop those here. So if we want people to be able to print this blog post, if it'll let me, there we go. You can WordPress this. You can, I'm not quite sure what Pocket is, but if you wanted to do Twitter and email, you can change how these display also. So I have it set right now so that it says show your friends, and then it will do the icons below it. But if you wanted to do the icon in the text, you could have it like this. If you want it to be the official buttons, you can have it like that. I mean, most people wouldn't know what the Twitter or the email or the WordPress official icon would be, but people are familiar with the like and the tweet. And you could have it to where whenever you open this, it opens in the same window or the new window. You can decide which posts or pages they can do this on, where they'll see all these buttons at. Let me go back to icon only. I like that better. Twitter site tag. The Twitter username of the owner of this site's domain. So for me, that's Hello Brand Co. And you can click Save Changes from there. So if we go and view the blog, you're going to see that there's no sharing icons on the page that we're looking at, the actual blog page. That's because they're in the actual blog post. Now, I get a lot of questions as far as the difference between that blog page and this internal page that we're in right now, which is the full blog post. Now, if you're utilizing the WolfNet WordPress plugin, you're going to see a big difference between the two. So let me just go ahead and grab one here. Where it says Lake Property Search, you're going to see that it says links here. Click here to view property grid. Now, if we go into the actual blog post, it's going to display the property grid, so you're not just seeing a link anymore. Now, the reason why that is because you want as less information on that first blog page as possible, so that you're not getting a lot of lag or load speed delay when it comes to that full page. Now, when most people find your actual website, they're not going to end up on your blog page, on this page here where it's an archive of everything you've written. They're going to end up inside the actual blog post because that's where the content is that Google has crawled over to learn about your site in order to recommend it as an answer to someone's search. So most people are going to end up here. They're not going to end up on that blog page. So if it doesn't show the photos or the images or the full property list in the actual blog page, that's okay, and that's why. So we want people to share this page, not the actual blog page. And I'm sure that some of you have also had the problem like I have in the past where I found that really awesome thing on Pinterest and someone has actually pinned the blog archive, which means I'm having to go through blog post after blog post trying to find the photo that I actually pinned. So this is to avoid that. And let's see what else we have in Jetpack that we could activate that we find to be really useful. Now those are the main ones, however, that I do recommend. There are a couple of other things that people have used, like the contact form here. However, there's a secondary contact form that's already in your Piggyback blog that you have the ability to go ahead and activate. I utilize that plugin, and I believe we'll be discussing lead capture forms next week. So if you're interested in learning more about that, let me know, and we'll definitely be covering it next week, and I want you to be at that webinar, okay? Probably the last piece I'm going to cover is going to be the subscriptions. Now, when it comes to subscriptions, people have asked me on a regular basis when it comes to their blog is how can people get updates that the blog has been, updated, or how can I share it to my group and things like that. And this would be it. This is the quick, easy way to do it, and it adds a widget to your sidebar for your website. So if we go ahead and configure the subscriptions area, you have the options down here at the bottom, and it looks like it takes us into settings, discussion settings. Now, most of the time you're not going to end up in the settings area. It just helps you know where to go by clicking configure. So in Jetpack subscription settings, we're able to decide whether or not we want people to be able to follow the blog or follow comments in the comment forms. So if we go ahead and click save for this, and go ahead and put it in a widget so that we have it available to look at. So if we go through here, you're going to see that there's some things that just have the word Jetpack beside it, and that's become available because we activated that Jetpack plugin. Now, if you're curious about learning how these things work and what they do, I always recommend just moving things and trying them. That's literally how I've learned most of the things that I know how to do inside of these platforms, is because I've just played with them and just to see what their actual outcomes are. And I definitely recommend doing the same. So I'm having a hard time. There it is. Blog subscriptions from Jetpack. And we're going to add it to the widget. Add the widget to the sidebar. Let's move it to the top so we know that that's the one we added. So you are able to change the title, which is now going to be subscribe to blog via email. And you can enter your email address to subscribe to this blog and receive notifications of new posts by email. So it's going to say in there for them to put in their email address, and to click the button the button that they click is going to say subscribe. And you can display the number of subscribers if you want, or you can decide not to show it. So let's go ahead and click save and take a look at what this looks like on our blog. Simple as that. So we could have changed this. We could have changed the what this button says. We could have changed that. We could have changed the title here. So we had a lot of options that we could change and completely rework this whole thing. But essentially, it's going to do the same thing every single time, no matter what we put in there. So this is an option for your readers to be able to come in and go, I want to know when so-and-so writes a new blog post, and make it really easy to me because I'll be able to just go straight to my email and see it without having to go to the actual website. So that's pretty much the most important things that I could say when it comes to Jetpack. So I'm going to go ahead and open the floor up for questions. So if you want to go ahead and start asking those, I'll be able to answer them for you. If there aren't any questions, I'm going to try and cover a couple of other things inside of that widget area that I didn't get to. But we're going to end up concluding in a little bit after that if there aren't any questions for me to answer, okay? So while you're writing your questions down, I'm going to go ahead and go over those other areas that were inside of the appearance widgets area that controls your sidebar. I'm going to get rid of some of these ones that I discussed previously. Okay, so we have the blog subscriptions already in there. If we wanted to use the Facebook like box, click add. My Facebook page URL, let's go ahead and use facebook.com/hello brandco. Check us out on Facebook. And I'm going to leave all this other stuff like just the way it is right now and see how it works for us. Display WordPress posts. Now this allows us to pull posts from another WordPress.com or Jetpack enabled blog. Now I know that my other blog, one of my other blogs is Jetpack enabled, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that and see if it'll work for us. So let's just try that and see if it'll do it for us. Then there's an option to be able to display a gallery. So it's just like whenever we added a gallery to a blog post or page, we can choose the images. So it doesn't automatically show us our media library. So we click Add to Gallery. And then it allows us to select and add to media, add to gallery, sorry. And let's click the circles and insert the gallery. And go ahead and save that. And let's see what else we have inside here. There's the Gravatar profile. What that does is it looks to see what email address you're utilizing for your profile, and that'll change that little image that shows up here. Now, honestly, that doesn't display anywhere inside of our Piggyback blog layout. So I'd say just go ahead and leave it alone if you're not going to utilize it. Jetpack image just allows you to put an image into your sidebar. There's a lot of different ways to do that. You're going to need the URL in order to be able to do it. So it's a little bit more difficult to be able to utilize. So I'm going to leave that be for now. And the Twitter timeline Jetpack. Follow me on Twitter, number of tweets shown, widget ID. This is a little bit more difficult in order to be able to utilize. So you're going to need to create a widget at twitter.com. So you just need to follow the instructions. I don't know my Twitter logins at the moment to be able to do this for you. But the instructions will show you that there's like an ID that is given to you for this widget so that it will be able to display. It's not as simple as the WordPress one, the Facebook one, where we just put in the URL and it pulls it from there. It's a little bit different from there. And the last one would be the top posts and pages for Jetpack. Now, it's probably not going to pull anything for me because there aren't any top posts or pages on this website because nobody visits it. So this works in conjunction with that Jetpack site stats thing, so it looks to see what posts and pages are being visited the most often, and they'll display it on your sidebar. So I'm just going to leave these things here, and let's go ahead and see what this looks like on our website. So we have our Jetpack Facebook page being shown, and you can see some of the pages that are here. It's only showing a couple of the friends that I have being shown here um, because it knows that I'm logged into Facebook. It's not able to pull the data from the other blog that I was trying to use, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with that one, but the gallery does display. Um, we didn't go and get the uh, ID or the widget ID for the Twitter to work, but I promise you, once you look at those instructions, you'll be able to figure out quite easily. Or I can discuss that at a later time if you would like. And then lastly, I said, whenever I put this in there, that I most likely wouldn't have anything in this widget because I don't have any top posts or pages because nobody visits this actual website. So I haven't received any questions so far, so I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping things up. If you have any questions for me, I do ask that you email me or set up a time for us to talk, and you can do so at Calendly, Calendly, Beco_Tracy, this page right here. You're able to go in here, schedule a time that works best for you so that we're able to connect when we're both available. If you have any additional questions that you feel I can best go over by phone as we both look at the computer together. If you have any questions as far as how to do anything on your Piggyback blog, it's most likely been answered on our tutorial videos or previous webinars on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/hellobrandco. If you go here, you're going to see that there's two playlists. One playlist is going to be for all of our previous Piggyback blog webinars, which today's has been recorded and will be put on there as well. Or you're going to see the Piggyback blog tutorials playlist, which includes all of the tutorials that I've done so far to show how to do things inside of this platform. Now, if there's something that you feel is missing that you think would be a really great asset for all the other users on the network, let me know. I'd love to create that video and have that available for everyone else. And lastly, if you have any other additional questions, there's a awesome little button inside of your once you're logged into your Piggyback blog, this little black square, a black circle down here. If you click on that at any time, you're able to send a direct message to me, and I will receive it and get back to you as fast as I can. Now, of course, I don't work 24 hours a day, so if it's out of office hours, I will get back to you the next day, and I promise that I will. So there are a lot of different ways to get a hold of me, and I would love to help you conquer any hurdles that you're having troubles with as far as this platform so that you're going to get the most out of it, because this is very important for your business. Okay, so that concludes the webinar for today, and I appreciate all of you for coming. Thank you.